Have you guys ever been in a situation where you have a sick idea, sick hook, perfect script, you spent hours recording, you paid an editor a shit ton of money, and you go through multiple versions of one video just to perfect it, just to post it and get absolutely no views? And then you see someone who's posting something similar to you and blowing the fuck up, and you're sat there confused, wondering what you did wrong. In reality, it's not just a content issue, it's a you issue. It's your marketability. And this is such a shitty topic to talk about because no one wants to admit that they're the problem. So in today's video, I'm going to be covering the impact of marketability and how much money it can make you with your personal brand, how marketability affects your content and engagement, how to become more marketable in your content, and how to make a video so good that it forces engagement. Right. Let's get into it. Before we talk about anything content related, I'm going to show you two basketball players. We all know who this guy is, Kobe Bryant. But if I had to ask you who this guy is, a lot of you would be very confused and clueless. But if you look at their careers, they have the same NBA finals. This person has just as much finals MVPs. They basically have the same career accolades. They both have successful careers. Some may argue that Tim Duncan was a more successful basketball player. But why do we only remember Kobe? Let's break it down. If you look at the two, Kobe Bryant is a fierce competitor, is outspoken, he embraced the spotlight, leaned into rivalries, and was very emotional. If we genuinely think about it, he had a lot of memorable moments. Tim Duncan, we barely knew who he was. He was very shy, reserved, doesn't talk a lot, and stoic. So how did this affect the personal brand that they built? If you actually look at the data, in endorsement deals, Kobe Bryant made $357 million through marketing outside of his NBA salary. And if we take a look at Tim Duncan, he has only made around $2 to $5 million annually during his prime. And this begs us to question why. It's simple. Kobe Bryant's personal brand is so much more marketable than Tim Duncan's because of these sole reasons. So why is this information relevant to us? I want to point out that it doesn't matter how perfect your script is, how good your editing is, how amazing your hook is. If you lack marketability, the results you have, the personality, the looks, the reputation, the network, skills, competence, cultural fit, you will not see results through the content that you post. That's why when we have person A who does everything to make the content perfect, they're testing multiple formats, they're articulating themselves well, they have nice cinematic editing, but they get no views. But then we have person B who does the exact same thing that person B does, but absolutely gets no views at all. We have to understand that the content is carefully packaged for person A, but the person isn't. You yourself internally, you are not carefully packaged to become marketable in order for people to watch you. That's why we have person A and person B. And that's why the Tim Duncan and Kobe analogy made perfect sense. Because if you look, they're just as good as each other. The only reason why someone was able to make more money through the marketing is because he was way more marketed. This also means you could have the best offer, you can have the best service, you can have the best value, best education, but people will not listen to you if you are not a marketable person. And I know a lot of you are saying that, oh, my life is too boring, I'm not marketable. But what if I told you that that is genuinely a limiting belief? You guys who think like that, think of it on such a surface level. In reality, all aspects of marketability aren't external. They are all things you can control. Everything that I mentioned here, from personality, looks, reputation, network, skills, competence, culture fit, are all external. They're all things that you can work on and improve. If you genuinely think that you are not marketable enough, you are limiting yourself and you are not becoming the person that you want to be, and you are stopping yourself from becoming the person who makes 10, 20, 30, 50, 100K months, because you need to develop as a person to become more marketed. And this is why I mentioned right at the beginning that this is such a difficult topic to talk about, because no one wants to admit it. No one wants to admit that they are in a shitty situation, and no one wants to admit that they can improve in their personal aspects, even though they're putting the hard work on, even though they're putting so much work into creating content and working on their business. Another thing is, if you genuinely spend all day at the desk working and you think that nothing about that can be marketable, the truth is there are no rules in marketing. You don't need to live a guru lifestyle to be appealing. You just need to market yourself in a way that appeals to your ICP and for your followers. So I'm going to take my client, for example, Sue Go. We made a video about 3 months ago of him making $26,000 in one day, and it was just literally 20 minutes of him sat at his desk working and speaking to the camera. But look, since we had a great understanding about ICP and dream follower, look at the comments. Everybody that resonated with working at the desk hours a day, making a shit ton of money, commented on this video and liked this video. So if you genuinely believe that you cannot become more marketable, you 100% can if you understand who you're speaking to and how to appeal to them, and if you choose to develop as a person as well. Once we dial that in, let's see how marketability impacts our content and our personal brand. So I'll give you guys a quick analogy. Let's say you're sat on a tube, you're sat on a train or a bus, and someone walks in and they're wearing a hoodie, they look terrible, they have scruffy clothes, and they just look like they're a bum. Instantly, in the first snap second of seeing them, you are going to formulate a perception on them that they are a terrible person. But for all we know, you could have $200 million in the bank account and you can be a successful CEO. This is called a snap judgment. Our brains are wired to jump to conclusions and it happens in milliseconds. I want you guys to imagine that your brain is a detective trying to solve a case, but there's missing clues. So to save time, your brain guesses. It's just an indicator that we make up our minds about people in less than a second. This same concept applies to your videos. I want you guys to understand that the moment that someone sees your video, it's someone's very first time viewing your content. It's someone's very first time seeing your video. So why would you want to leave a terrible first impression? The split second that someone swipes on your video, they're already going to formulate an opinion about you. So that is why capitalizing on this snap judgment is so important, because perceived value is everything. If you have a good first impression, you're dressed nicely, camera quality is nice, your background is nice, and things of that nature, the higher you're going to be perceived, and it will give them more of a reason to listen to you. And I'll show you guys really quickly with one of my clients, Bilo. He is a crypto millionaire. He's been posting content for a minute now. And when he was filming videos in his room, he was only getting 500 views, 2,000 views, because he's a crypto millionaire, but the perception is not there. What we told him to do is we told him to start filming in front of a Lambo, start filming in front of the cars. First video, 6K. Although it's not a lot of views, this video, 12K. It's slow growth, but ultimately we're increasing the amount of views that he's getting, which proves that it genuinely works. And also, we have been brainwashed to think that the hook is arguably the most important thing to capture the viewer's attention, but it's the snap judgment. And if you pair the snap judgment with the hook, then you have a video that will capture their attention and retain them. And also, social media is so competitive right now that there's so many videos with the exact same hooks, the exact same camera angles. How else are you supposed to stand out? So this begs the question, how can we become more marketable? I want you guys to imagine that you're going to meet your girlfriend or boyfriend's parents for the first time. Think of how you'd present yourself. We'd obviously want to leave a great first impression. This also applies to the videos that we make. You want to make sure that you wear clothes that you look and feel good in. You want to make sure that your camera quality is great, because it gives the perception that you have money and you actually care about the content that you're creating. You want to film with a nice backdrop as well. And you want to make sure you have great lighting so people can actually see your face. With the editing, you want to make sure that it's nice and it perfectly communicates the story that you're trying to tell in your videos. And then the last thing that you want to do to become more marketed is also find out why your clients chose you other than the value you provide, and double down on it. And you can do this by asking in the onboarding form, what part of my brand did you resonate with the most? Why did you decide to work for me? And what video pushed you into buying? And that is how you get a good understanding what type of content to create, how to position your brand in a way that resonates with your dream follower or ICP. So now that we're marketable as a person, it doesn't mean that the job is finished. We obviously have to create a good video in order for viewers to continue watching us and in order for us to build a really good personal brand. So the next thing that we're going to cover is how to make a good video. And this covers both Instagram and YouTube. And obviously, having a good hook, script, and editing make up a video, but that's not what makes a good video. What makes a good video is whether or not your video leaves a genuine, lasting impression. Whether it be relatability, it could be aggravating, it could give the viewers an epiphany moment, it could leave them excited, motivated, and sadness. The reason why you want to leave a lasting impression is because humans are very emotional beings. We base our decisions on the emotions that we feel. So the way we influence the viewer into making a decision to engage in our video depends on the lasting emotional impression that we leave on them. If you look at the biggest personal brands, the reasons why they gain the comments and attraction that they get is because they're very polarizing, like Andrew Tate, and controversial, which pisses a lot of people off and has a lot of people agreeing and disagreeing, or Alex Hormozi, where every valuable piece of advice that you're giving a story with it to relate to the viewer. Or Iman Ghazi, that relates to you on his story and shows you that it's actually possible to make money online as a beginner. But to make sure that you leave a genuine lasting impression on your audience, you must first need to understand who you are speaking to. If you do not know who you are speaking to, your content isn't going to hit. I want you to ask yourself, who are you trying to piss off? Who are you trying to make emotional? Who are you trying to motivate? And who are you trying to relate to? Once you have a good understanding of who you're speaking to, it becomes a lot more clear on the type of content that you need to make. And also, your content won't hit if you don't speak to anybody either. You either want people to strongly agree with you or strongly disagree with you. You never want to be in the middle. Because if you're in the middle, no one will actually care about you. The people who strongly agree with you will end up becoming your fans, and the people who strongly disagree with you will continue to watch your content and engage in it, but not like you as a person. So now that we understand what makes a good video, other than the scripting, the editing, and stuff like that, how do we ensure success? The truth is, success and virality is not guaranteed. The key to winning in content is by understanding psychology and data. We must first understand what keeps people coming back to our videos, and that's Pavlov's conditioning. To put it simple, this is Pavlov's conditioning, and I'm going to explain how it can be applied to your content as well. So let's say there's a dog and a bell, and every time the bell rings, food is brought to the dog. Over time, that dog is going to be conditioned to expect food from that bell. And over time, if this keeps on happening, that dog is going to be conditioned to think that food is going to be brought. So every time the dog sees the bell, the mouth starts salivating, it gets closer to the bell, and it just gets a rush of dopamine. But let's replace the food with an electric shock, a negative reinforcement. And every time the bell is rung, the dog is electrocuted. Over time, the dog is going to avoid the bell because it knows that whenever the bell rings, it's going to get electrocuted. The same thing applies to our content. If we post content with genuine value or genuine relatability or something that leaves a lasting impression and rewards the viewer, over time, if you continuously do that consistently, every time someone sees our videos, they're going to be inclined to watch because we're rewarding them with the emotions at the end of the video. But if your video was bad and it didn't reward the viewer for watching the videos, over time, they're going to be trained to swipe off our videos because there's nothing to gain from it for them. So now that we understand psychology, the next phase is test it. So how can you tell that your videos are leaving a genuine lasting impression and having a psychological effect on your viewers? These are the data points that you track after posting your videos. The genuine comments, because if people are taking time of day to comment on your videos and spend 30 seconds writing up a paragraph or a sentence, then it means your video left a strong lasting impression and your video was good. Saves, very self-explanatory. If someone watched your video and they thought it was a good video, you're going to save your video and go back to it. Followers per 1,000 views. If your video was genuinely good and left an emotional impact, that means it influenced them into following. Sense, very self-explanatory again. If you create a video and they share around it, it means that they want people to see it and they think that other people relate to it. Now that we understand psychology and we understand what type of data to collect to ensure that we double down on video ideas that work and have this psychological impact, what can we do before posting our videos? I like to call this content growth. You can tell that a video is genuinely going to perform well. And before you post the video, I want you to ask yourself, what emotion does this video make you feel? Are you excited to post it? Are you scared? Are you anxious because you're being vulnerable? If you're scared, you're either going to piss someone off. If you're excited, you're going to motivate someone, or you're excited to just share your video because you enjoyed what you created. If you paid $5 to watch your video, would you be happy? As you guys know, time is money, money is time. And if you feel like the value that you gave in the form of entertainment, as in it doesn't make you laugh, in the form of telling the story, as if it doesn't relate to anyone or resonate with anyone, or if you're giving education and the value is very lackluster, it means that you just wasted your money. And the next thing is, you want to ask, what does your audience gain from this video? The reason why is because as humans, you always want to see something in our best benefit. Even if we're spending 30 to 40 seconds watching a reel, we want to know what's in it for us. What's in it for the time that we invested watching your video? Are we highly entertained? Are we given an epiphany moment? Are we going to be motivated? Are we going to resonate with this? That is what you want to think about. This is the type of things that you should focus on before posting, before after scripting your video, and after creating your video as well. So yeah, guys, this is what you should do if your videos are getting less than 1,100 views. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to DM me on Instagram or follow me on Instagram if you have any questions or need any help. I've left my Instagram in the description below. If you guys enjoyed this, take care. Peace.